I'm here in Brisbane to meet a creative couple whose architecture has changed the face of Queensland. Now they've taken that same forward-thinking philosophy and brought it into their extraordinary new home. This is a fantastic house. What were you thinking at the start? What was the plan?
We'd been chipping away at a plan for 4 years, and we were on holiday and Ingrid grabbed a napkin and drew the section of this house that we're in now. And I sulked for a week because she solved it.
So there was a house here initially. You nailed it on the back of the napkin. What was the problem with the site? What couldn't you get your head around in the first place?
Well, I think to occupy the whole site was difficult with a single level because you're on the side of a cliff. And also our town planning regulations are very prescriptive in the way that they assume you're going to put a house in the middle of the block and have a yard around it. And we wanted to do the opposite.
It's about having a protected courtyard. It's about making the most of the pool and not have the pool kind of out the back, and that to be part of everyday life, because even in the middle of winter when you're not swimming in it, it's actually really beautiful. There's always this perception that the house, the main building, is celebrated in a certain way, and we had a bit of a debate with council because we put what's essentially the granny flat at the front.
Your architecture's made a huge impact on this city in terms of the sort of public space. And then there's echoes of that public space in your own home. How does that work for you in terms of we seeing those elements that we can see elsewhere?
We maybe thought that this building could, in another tenure, become a gallery or a restaurant or have some other use beyond purely domestic. And so, like the other work, we try and make things that are flexible so that they can endure different types of occupation.
What are the parts of the house that give you the most joy?
There's a point where if you're lying in the pool facing towards the building and you just get a silhouette and a sky, and it feels really wonderful. It feels like you're alone even though you're quite close to the centre of the city.
I like the way the house changes during the day. We have our office temporarily in the apartment at the front. So as an office, you're stuck in one spot all day. And so when the sun hits your desk at 2 o'clock, it's a real pain in the arse. But if you're not working there and you're living in a place, those moments in the day are really beautiful.
It's hard not to imagine this house, when you enter it, as an incredibly social house, which is another way of saying it's a party house. Is it a party house?
Absolutely. I mean, we enjoy entertaining and wanted to make a place for us, but also where our friends can have significant events.
Tell me about the block work.
Our work in Brisbane, we've tended to use a light-coloured masonry, and I think that's because we feel like it's appropriate for the kind of hot weather city we're in. We used half height and full height blocks in an alternating bond horizontally, and we almost removed the perpends. So we sort of denied the vertical joints and expressed the horizontal joints so that it appropriated a stone building. We were careful in the way the windows were detailed to keep the block pure, so we never get a window frame wrapping over the block work. So it's quite crisp and almost like a ruin in the way it's kind of naked, I suppose, in its detailing.
There's a softness, a humanity to your architecture that connects with us. How do you sprinkle that magic?
I think that's part of this idea that it's enduring and that landscape can grow over the top of it, and it's this other kind of sustainability that's about not having to keep rebuilding the same thing over and over again.
Also materially, I think we suffer from a nostalgia of timber and tin buildings, and I think it's misplaced sometimes because it wasn't necessarily a climatic response to the place. It was about the fact that they were cheap to build. You know, if we look to other hot weather places like Mexico or South America, those places have a huge legacy of concrete masonry buildings that respond to the climate. So we think that building in concrete masonry is a more kind of sustainable solution to a hot weather place long term.